very much, Hakan, for that extremely eloquent and far too kind introduction. I wish I'd recorded it to play to my children, because I'm more used to hearing them call me a nerd and a loser. So it made me sound pretty good. And I'd like to also thank the committee, the various committees of the history department here at the University of Central Florida that works to bring me here. In particular, Dr. and Mrs. Pauley for endowing this speaker series. Although I have to say I'm a little disappointed because I thought the flowers were for me. Anyway, I'll get over it. Now, as Professor Özalü said, I've done a lot of work on parts of China that are in the frontiers, Mongolia and Xinjiang, which is far out in the northwest, and overlaps with Central Asia. And I'm not going to speak about those areas so much today. I'm going to talk more about China in general. But it will be a perspective from the fringes in some way, a perspective that's informed by work on identity and figuring out what China is. I think as Americans know, you have a different sense of America if you come, say, from Alaska or Hawaii, or even from one of the coasts than perhaps you would from the so-called heartland or something like that. Frontiers give us interesting perspectives because not only is there the country before us, but there's something at our back as well, which informs it. And so that's the direction in which I'm coming to China from in my talk tonight. And I'm going to be addressing, I've tried to pitch this in a more general way for people who know about China, but also for people who might not know very much about China, but are interested in it. And also for people who are concerned about contemporary China, but, such as political scientists, policymakers, journalists, and others, but who might not necessarily know that much about the history. So I'm going to be addressing several paradigms about Chinese history that shape the way we think about it. And as you'll see, I have some opinions about them. And finally, I should mention that today is the beginning of the Chinese New Year, so it's very appropriate that we're all gathered here. We should be eating dumplings and setting off fireworks as well. Maybe there'll be some fireworks during the question and answer session. But this is the year of the ox. Does anyone know how to say ox in Chinese? Niu. Niu, right. Niu is the word. So I can wish you all a happy Niu Year. That's the last joke you'll hear all night. All right. In the first decades of the Tang Dynasty, the Tang Dynasty ran from the 7th century through the early 10th century. So in the early 600s, a scholar monk named Xuanzang looked past guards on the Tang Dynasty frontier in northwest China and traveled through the deserts and mountains of Central Asia on his way to India. He was on a quest to gather Buddhist sutras and other writings in hopes of improving the textual basis of Buddhism in China. The faith had entered mainland East Asia centuries earlier, but the corpus of Buddhist literature was incomplete, translations and interpretations sometimes questionable. Xuanzang hoped to remedy this through a period of studying abroad. He spent the 630s and the early 640s in India gathering sutras and ended up studying at an Indian college called Nalanda with thousands of other Indian monks. Now, he was not the first Chinese liushizheng, first Chinese foreign student to study in India. There had been other monks for centuries before him. But he would be the most influential because of his great scholarship and of a massive translation project that he carried out back in China when he returned, in the city of Xi'an, that I know the Pauleys have visited. Translating these sutras, making them available into Chinese. Xuanzang had a biographer who wrote about history, a man named Hui Li. And Hui Li tells us of a curious exchange between a group of Indian monks in Nalanda and Xuanzang himself. And I want to look at this conversation, at this exchange between the two, to to start out this evening because it has this strangely contemporary ring to it. Hui Li writes that as Xuanzang was packing up the sutras and Buddhist images and preparing his return to China, a group of Indian monks approached him. They were puzzled why he should want to return to China. And they didn't call it China, they called it Zhina. So why would he want to go back there? In China, they said, the common people are slighted, the Dharma, the Buddhist truth is despised, the Buddhas are never born in that country. Whereas, of course, the Buddha was born in India. Saints and sages do not go there. The climate is cold and the land is full of dangerous mountains. What is there for you to be nostalgic about? And besides, they said, Zhina, as they called it, is a barbarian place. The word they use for barbarian is transcribed in Chinese as nianche. Now, we'll do that in a second. Zhina, as you can see, is an Indian term. It's the origin of our own word for China. And it's significant that that's the word that biographer Hui Li used to call China. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, this word is a transcription of lecha. It's a Sanskrit word, means barbarian, other definitions as you can see. So here we have this Chinese scholar, this monk, studying in India, eager to bring the fruits of Indian culture and Buddhism home to China. And he's confronted by a group of monks steeped in that same culture who are calling his home a place of barbarians. So not surprisingly, Xuanzang gets a little testy after this. And I'm not going to read all these by putting them up, but I'll summarize. In defending Zhina to these monks, Xuanzang uses classic Confucian terms. China is civilized, he says, first of all, because people there wear proper clothing. And this is the term that I translated in my title, or I left it in my title as a highly civilized country. That's a term that comes up in the translations. But in fact, we see, it's highlighted there, we see it in Chinese. What this means is that proper clothing is worn. The clothing and the caps are all proper. That's this sense of civilization. Also, proper relationships are maintained. Family relationships and also relationship of the ruler with his people. And Xuanzang goes on to mention China's accomplishments at understanding and controlling the natural world. I think after 9/11 there were other settings to focus on, so there was no need particularly to focus on China for that. But there are certainly those who, for whatever reasons, I think would like us to envision China as a competitor, if not an enemy, in that regard. I think that's a dangerous tendency. And it makes it very difficult because there are tendencies for China bashing, both political grounds and economic grounds. This is definitely part of American political culture as well. And it makes it difficult to try to present constructive criticisms as an American, or one sincerely feels like constructive criticism. It's very easy to get cast as a China basher. And so this is a difficult line for those of us who are very concerned with U.S.-China relations. Did that answer your question? Sure.
Let's say one last question for the formal session, after which we can reconvene outside and we can continue as an informative. Please call the last question.
All right. I'm going to call this gentleman up here.
Going along with the notion that China,
Could you stand up, please?
China and the U.S. are lips and teeth, it's safe to say that